But I want to show y'all something real quick, right?
A popular YouTube personality is gunned down while driving through Chicago's Printers Row. A popular YouTube personality is gunned down while driving through Chicago's Printers Row neighborhood.
So this person right here, Zacktv, I think I done told some of y'all about this individual before.
Shout out to my boy Nard.
Zacktv was a person that
Shout out to my boy Nardo.
Zacktv is a person that's been fucking with me for the longest, right? I gotta go to my other page. He's a person that's been fucking with me for the longest, right? Like if I go to my subscribers, and if I go to my top subscribers, like I can see like people that's following me that has like a lot of like subscribers and shit like that. So like we go to lifetime. So here goes Zacktv right here. Zacktv has been he's been subscribed to me since December 25th, 2010. This is my dog right here, right? This is my boy. This is my boy right here, bro. Like this is my boy, bro. This is my dog right here. You feel me? Like he's been rocking out with me for the longest, bro. He's been rocking out with me for the longest, bro. Since 2010, bro. He's been rocking out with me, bro. You know what I'm saying? Here go his page and shit like that or whatever. Zacktv1 and shit like that or whatever. Cause you know, before I started posting a lot of racing videos and shit like that on that page and shit like that, you know, that this YouTube page right here is like my main YouTube page where I posted like all my shit like back in the day. A lot of videos that I didn't private or deleted and shit like that, but you know, that's my main YouTube page and shit like that. And me and Zach, I've been knowing Zach since like 2007. I've been knowing Zach, right? You know what I'm saying? And when I finally made my page and shit like that, What the Bama shit, because this is like around the time when he finally made his page and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? We instantly was following each other and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we know each other and shit. You know what I'm saying? Because Zach, he's more or less like, kind of like we're around the same age, but he's more or less like kind of around the age of my brothers and shit like that, my older brothers and shit. So he was plugged in with my brothers and shit like that or whatever, you know what I'm saying, rapping with them and shit. But you know what I'm saying, you know, he knows of me and shit like that too as well. So, you know, he's been following me since, you know, 2010 and shit. And Zacktv pretty much was one of the biggest bloggers out of the city of Chicago that was doing videos with all the rappers and shit, like L.A. Capone, you know what I'm saying, FBG Doug, Lil Flip, OTF Newski, you know what I'm saying, Live from Old Block, you know what I'm saying, my boy Moo Moo Crump, you know what I'm saying, the original Chief Keef video, the original Lil Durk, Lil Mister, you know what I'm saying, like all these motherfuckers, you feel me? So he was that dude and shit like that or whatever the case may be. And unfortunately, you know, he passed away in 2018 or whatnot, you know what I'm saying, downtown and shit. But I just want to give y'all a little backstory and shit like that before I show this video. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, Zach, you know what I'm saying, been fucking with me for the longest and shit like that or whatever the case may be since, you know, we've been plugged in and shit. But hold on, let me show y'all this video though. Hold on. Boom. All right, go back to my other page. All right, bet. I can close this out. Bet. But check this shit out though.
Got to.
Oh, wrong video. Hold on. Here we go. Check this shit out, though.
He's identified as Zach Stoner, known on YouTube as Zacktv1.
History involving a budding YouTube star from Chicago. Zach Stoner featured music and interviews on his shows, many highlighting young Chicago talent, along with an anti-violence message. So it was a shock to his family, friends, and followers when he was gunned down in the South Loop.
I'm getting and saw the video and everything else like that. How did you feel?
I felt like it was crazy, and whoever did this was some bitch ass nigga.
You know, he was at my show that night. I had an indie show all Chicago.
Shout out to my boy, RB to my boy,
on
Zach,
May
man.
29th, 2018, entrepreneur Chicago King Dave was prepping for a major event at Refuge nightclub in Chicago. The lineup featured numerous local rappers, a showcase of the underground talent Zacktv had spent years documenting. By 8:45 p.m., the list of performers was finalized. But just minutes later, Zacktv called King Dave with a request. He wanted his friend, AMG Fresh, to be added to the lineup.
So, like, basically, like, I know y'all probably don't know this, but, like, Zach, you know what I'm saying, he from the hundreds and shit like that or whatever. So, you know, of course, as anybody, if a motherfucker gets put in a position, you know what I'm saying, to help his guys out and shit like that, you only a real nigga if you know what I'm saying, get put in that position and you make sure the whole camp gets fed. You dig what I'm saying? So, of course, Zach's gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? What nigga won't do no shit like that? So that's all, you know what I'm saying, Zach was doing this shit. Like, Zach was one of those niggas that he showed love to the whole city. He didn't give a fuck if you was from over there, over there, over there, over there. He's gonna show love, man. You know what I'm saying? He gonna come over there, fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Make you get an interview. You know what I'm saying? Put your hood on the map and shit like that. Put your block on the map and shit like that to the world and shit like that and give you a platform. You know what I'm saying? Long as you show him respect, he gonna respect you. And it's gonna be all love. You know what I'm saying? He didn't give a fuck. GDBD, Vice Lord, folk. He didn't give a fuck about none of that shit. On baby. He gonna fuck with you. He gonna rock out with you and shit like that. And he gonna show you genuine love. He gonna post your shit. He gonna do interviews with you and shit like that. He gonna try to get you as much exposure as you humanly possibly can get. And a lot of motherfuckers blew up off of ZacktV's platform from the exposure that they got from his shit. Because before all these other, you know, in today's society, you know, it's totally different now, 2025. You know, everybody's a blogger now. You know what I'm saying? So these motherfuckers are able to go to this nigga, that nigga, this nigga, that nigga, you know, so on and so forth, and get a motherfucking interview. But back in these times, though, you know, 2014, 15, 16, you know, so on and so forth, you know, motherfuckers wasn't doing this shit. It was only this right here. So for him to go out his way and fuck with you, and generally fuck with you, like, Zach was doing shit that a lot of these motherfuckers that today that's bloggers and shit, and I ain't gonna sit here and say like it's the safest thing to do, but that's what type of thorough ass nigga Zach was, though. It wasn't like today's bloggers or interviewers and shit where, you know, you gotta go to a studio, you know, a private location or some shit like that, or do a Zoom call or some, you know what I'm saying, DJ Vlad type shit like that or whatever. No, Zach will go to your block. Don't know none of them niggas. He barely know your ass. So he definitely don't know them 20-odd niggas that standing behind you and fuck with you. That's some real ass shit right there. Motherfuckers gotta tip their hat and give motherfucking flowers, man, to Zach, man, the type of shit that he was doing. Cause motherfuckers knew where Zach was coming from, the niggas that he fucked with and shit like that, but Zach will still pull up to your block and let you do your shit. Show your neighborhood off, show your guys off, all that shit. We ain't in no loft downtown and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Some private location, shit like that. We on the block. Let's do this shit.
King Dave made an exception, and AMG Fresh was allowed to perform.
So that's always on my mind. Like, damn, if he wasn't there, would he still be alive? And I just had to learn to, you know, it ain't your fault, you know, because I had a different plan for Zach, and it just took me some time after that. Like, I'm still affected by that. Like,
Zach arrived to the club to support and record AMG Fresh. Fresh had brought his girlfriend along. It was her birthday, and the night was supposed to be a celebration. As T Streets and AMG Fresh performed, Zach moved through the crowd, camera in hand.
so he called me and he had somebody he wanted to perform, and I'm like, bring them, you good. Gave him a time, they came, showed up, left the show, something happened, and he ended up, you know what I'm saying?
Everything seemed normal until AMG Fresh took the stage. Zach overheard a group of men talking about AMG Fresh, pointing him out. One of them said, "Isn't that the dude who beefs with the BDs?" The conversation quickly escalated. Zach realized the men were planning to jump AMG Fresh while he was performing.
He went down there to really, you know what I'm saying, help folks them, you know what I'm saying, to promote what they had going on, and he overheard motherfuckers saying what they was gonna do to him. And he was stopping that shit. But a lot of motherfuckers don't know this. He stopped motherfuckers from getting on the stage and up Fresh performance.
Without hesitation, Zack stepped in. He talked to the group, convincing them to back off, de-escalating a situation AMG Fresh wasn't even aware of. But the energy in the club had changed.
That's why I tell motherfuckers, bro, sometimes it pays to be around niggas that motherfuckers don't know that you fuck with, just for situations that like this right here can transpire. Cause that's just like me being out somewhere, or whatever the case may be, right? And everybody knows that I fuck with these group of motherfuckers right here. So if they see me and they get to whispering amongst each other, but they see my partner right there, they gonna shut the fuck up. Versus they see a motherfucker right there and they get to whispering about shit about me, they gonna look at him like, oh, he don't know nobody. Who the fuck is Shorty? Ooh. But the whole time, that's my man's right there. And my man, he give me the intel like, hey, bro, woo. Hey, just to let you know, I overheard some niggas talking and shit, man. Motherfuckers said they gonna get on your ass and shit. Yeah, who you talking about? Them niggas right there. Oh, shit, yeah, okay, bet. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy how shit like that plays out, bro.
The night didn't feel right anymore. Zack made the decision to leave early. Witnesses later said he looked uneasy as he walked out. After leaving Refuge, Zack went to his Jeep, planning to pick up AMG Fresh and get him out of there before anything happened.
He ain't here for that, you know what I'm saying? They was about to get on the stage and Zack stopped them like, please don't do this. People don't know this though. Zack left a little early before the show ended, so he can be outside on the front waiting for Fresh. When Fresh came out, he was telling Fresh get his ass in the car, but it was Fresh's girl's birthday.
When Zack found Fresh, he tried to get him inside the car immediately. Zack was visibly nervous, showing Fresh his gun, a silent warning that they were in a bad situation.
And that's why it always pays to have a nigga with you, bro, that doesn't drink for motherfucking to stay on point. Cause like a lot of niggas get caught up, man, being in these motherfucking venues and shit like that, and they off the drugs or they off the oil and shit like that. Like it pays for a nigga that truly is sober and could be on point at all time. Cause a nigga that's drunk, they not paying attention to no shit like this, man. They not even on they square right now, bro. You feel me? That's why it pays to have a nigga like that.
But Fresh, unaware of what had gone down inside, was relaxed. It was his girlfriend's birthday, and he wasn't in a rush to leave. Zack insisted, get in the Jeep. After some hesitation, AMG Fresh finally got in. His girlfriend and T Streets joined them. As soon as AMG Fresh got inside the Jeep, the men from inside the club noticed. They saw the car he got into. They now knew what vehicle to follow. Zack drove 2 blocks away from the club, dropping off AMG Fresh and his girlfriend at their car. Fresh's girl got out and switched to her own vehicle. Zack didn't immediately leave.
He got to the car. They made it to Fresh car and parked right in front of it. You know what I'm saying? And Zack chose to let them sit in. Fresh girl was in the front seat. T Streets and Fresh was in the back seat. And she hopped out the car when they pulled up and got in their car and started it. And Zack chose to tell them the little shit that he was telling them right then and there instead of leaving.
Right, tell them later.
Zacktv saving Fresh, bro.
Okay.
He parked and explained everything that had happened inside the club. He wanted Fresh to understand how close things had come to turning violent. Before Zack could drive away, a dark-colored minivan pulled up beside his Jeep. Gunshots erupted. The bullets ripped through the Jeep's windshield. Either AMG Fresh or T Streets fired back, returning shots. Zack was hit. One bullet struck him in the shoulder. Another hit behind his ear, lodged into his brain. His foot slipped from the pedal. The Jeep lost control, veering off the road and slamming into a pole.
Around 1 in the morning, police say a gunman in another car pulled up alongside Stoner's vehicle near Clark and Polk Streets. Multiple shots were fired.
The Jeep had crashed, but the shooting had stopped. T Streets and AMG Fresh didn't wait to see what would happen next. They jumped out of the wreckage and ran to AMG Fresh's girlfriend's car. She was still parked nearby, and as soon as they got inside, she sped off. Up above, a bystander recorded the scene from a high-rise building.
A witness, several stories up, posted this Twitter video moments after the crash. It appears to show a group of people at the scene getting into another vehicle, then driving off before police arrive.
In the footage, the Jeep sat motionless, its front smashed against the pole. Zach was still inside, slumped over, alone. At 1:35 a.m., police arrived at the scene. They found Zach in the driver's seat, shot, unresponsive. Underneath his seat, they discovered his .40 caliber pistol.
Now, Zach, I know this for a fact. Zach, he was, you know what I'm saying, when it came to the guns and shit, he was completely squared away, man. You know what I'm saying? He had all his license to carry and all that old shit. You know what I'm saying? Ford card, all that good old shit. You know what I'm saying? Zach was, he did his shit smart, man. He did his shit the right way and stuff. He wasn't one of these motherfuckers that, you know, there'd be a lot of motherfuckers out here, they ain't got no felonies, no nothing on their background, but yeah, you carrying dirty weapons. You know what I'm saying? You carrying stolen weapons and shit like that. And it's like, bro, what the fuck is you doing, bro? It don't cost you nothing for real. What, $10 and a photo? Send it to the motherfucking, you know what I'm saying, Springfield to get your motherfucking Ford and shit. Then go and spend like $120, $150 to get your CCL. Like, that shit don't cost nothing, bro. But hey, I mean, niggas do what they want to do with their own lives, man. But Zach, he had all that shit.
He never had the chance to use it. Zach was rushed to Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Doctors fought to save him, but his injuries were too severe. At 4:20 a.m., Zachary Stoner was pronounced deceased.
15 minutes later, chick FaceTime me, showing me. Putting Zach on the stretcher, crying. I'm like, Zach? Literally was like a block and a half away.
Yeah.
I'm standing in the front, paying my DJs, like DJ Amaris. Yeah, me and DJ Amaris out there. I'm like, man, you get paid, they give you the money? I gave somebody else the money. He like, yeah, then we boom, 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 boom.
His final night had started with supporting a friend. By the end, he became a target. Had Zach just paid the price for trying to stop a fight before it even started? For a man who spent years documenting Chicago's rap scene, his passing became another tragic headline.
From me knowing Zach, and from everybody else knowing Zach, I ain't never heard of Zach to do no to nobody. You feel me? So I don't feel like there's no reason in this world you should even want to do to Zach. Like, Zach interviewed everybody, every hood. You see what I'm saying? Like, he's cool with everybody, so I just feel like, why would you want to do that to Zach?
Mm-hmm. On June 9th, 2018, Warner's Field Gatling's Chapel on Chicago's South Side. The air inside was heavy, thick with sorrow and unanswered questions. Zachary Stoner had spent his life documenting Chicago's streets. Now, he was being laid to rest. The crowd was so large that there was barely room to stand. For nearly 3 hours, people spoke of the man who had fearlessly given underground voices a platform. Zach wasn't a traditional journalist. He didn't work for a newspaper or sit in a newsroom. Instead, his newsroom was the streets of Chicago, where he built his legacy as one of the first true street journalists surrounding drill culture. In 2010, he launched his YouTube channel, Zacktv 1. Zacktv helped shape the way the world saw Chicago's drill scene.
You see what I'm saying? He made this shit in 2010. That's when he started following me. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as he made this shit, you know what I'm saying? I was like one of the few people that we started following each other and shit like that. You know what I mean? Because you got to realize something, right? And I'm not saying this to, like, you know what I'm saying? But I'll tell you this little bit of the story, though. Like, my older brothers and them, they already told Zach that I was fucking with the YouTube shit. Because you got to realize, I've been fucking with YouTube since 2008. I was like 15, 16 years old already fucking with this shit. Zach didn't make his first YouTube until 2010 when he first started following me. he been asked my brothers and shit. And he asked me too as well after my brothers and them had told him like, yeah, our little brother, man, he be fucking with that YouTube shit and stuff like that. He be making videos because you gotta realize back then I was making the gaming shit at first. Then from the gaming shit, I was doing like daily vlogs of like boxing fights or just shit going on in school and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was making all those videos and shit like that. Y'all remember those videos? I showed y'all those videos before. But I was doing like daily vlogs in school and shit of when motherfuckers bring gloves to school and shit, and we'll be fighting in the gym room or something like that, or fighting in the bathroom or some shit like that. Or like doing passing period and shit like that. I have motherfuckers on camera saying some goof ass shit and stuff like that, whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So when when my brothers had told him about that shit, he had asked me like, man, bro, how you do all this shit, bro? Like, what you all gotta do with shit? And I told him like, man, Joe, I made a YouTube page and shit like that or whatever. I fucking got a little camera and shit like that or whatever the case may be. Just record that shit. You know what I'm saying? You can, at that particular time, I didn't know how to edit. So what I'll do was I'll just record the video and I'll just post it as is, like no cuts, no nothing. It'll just be raw. You feel me? So I told him like, you can buy some editing shit to try to edit, but I don't know how to edit though. So all my videos just be raw. Like as I record it, that's the video. No cuts, no nothing. And he's like, okay. So I need to get a camera. I need to get this. Woo. So he went out, you got realize he older than me. So he already had some money and shit like that. He went out and got all that shit. Got the motherfucking laptop, motherfucking cameras and shit, the equipment and shit like that. This is 2010. So, shit is different than what it is now where you can just do all this shit on your cell phone and shit like that. So he got all that shit and stuff like that. So I remember one time I had showed him like, no, you got to do this and you can do this and you can just upload them. You know what I'm saying? Like you just record some shit. So I recorded a quick little 20-second clip real quick. And I'm like, boom, you go on the YouTube shit and you click the upload. You upload this shit. This shit going to take about an hour or so because back then uploading the video onto YouTube took forever. I'm like, this shit going to take like an hour or so, but it'll get uploaded onto your shit. He seen that shit. He like, oh, okay, that's how you do that shit. And from there on, he just, you know what I'm saying? Just took off, bro. Just took off, bro. You know what I mean? Like, just took off, man. Like, I seen the whole growth of what Zach was doing, bro, when he first started doing the YouTube. Because at first, he made some random videos, like he put on his YouTube page. He just made random videos. Like, he made one video of him out shooting at the range and some other videos of him outside and shit like that, just random shit. And then he came with the motherfucking interviews and blogs and shit like that as motherfuckers know him as today and shit. You know what I'm saying? But I think everybody pretty much started off like that, though. But I remember, though, I was one of them ones, though. I probably wasn't the only motherfucker, but I was one of the ones that showed them how to do that shit when it came to the YouTube shit. Like, show them how to do this and do that and so on and so forth. Like, he was over here at the crib and shit because I had a little bullshit-ass Toshiba computer and shit, little PC and shit, laptop. And I showed him on my shit, like, you just do this and do that and do this. And then when he got his shit, I had to show him again, like, all right, so you can just do this and do that and do this. And then he got the editing software, the Sony Vegas. He got that shit. So then he was boom, bada beam, bada boom. And then he got the what you call it, the Apple shit. You know what I'm saying? So then he started doing this shit on the Final Cut Pro and shit like that or whatever. I remember all that shit, gang. I remember all that shit. So that shit hurt my heart, bro. Back in 2018, they took my boy up out of here, man. That shit hurt my heart right there, bro. For real. Because, like, bro, he was big off that shit, man. He was big as hell off that shit, bro. He was big as hell. I remember one time he was in a car and shit like that. He had put up on my brothers and shit like that or whatever. And I had came out there. And I'm like, what up, bro? I'm like, man, Joe, man, you blowing up off the interview and shit and stuff like that. He's like, yeah, man, I got to thank your little young ass for showing me, man, how the fuck was you doing that YouTube shit way back then and shit? Because you got to realize, I was 15, 16 at the time. At that particular time, Zach had to be, if I was 15 or 16, Zach had to be like, man, 20, 21, maybe 22. He had to be like that. Yeah, like 20, 21, 22. You know what I'm saying? He was like, man, I gotta thank your little young ass for showing me that shit, man. Cause like I ain't know how to do none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was already fucking with it.
4 record labels and journalists flocked to the city. Zach was already sitting down with future stars Chief Keef, Lil Durk, FBG Duck, giving some of their first real exposure.
You know, niggas shooting cameraman in Chicago. R.I.P. Zacktv. You know, they...
R.I.P. I was about to mention that. R.I.P. Zacktv. Real good dude, man. Did you guys have a relationship?
Yeah, his dad did my first interview.
He did your first interview?
Yeah,
See what I'm saying?
Did it late night.
A lot of people's first interviews.
Through his lens, the world got a first-hand look at the drill movement, straight from the source. But Zach's work wasn't without consequence. He was really in it, walking through neighborhoods where cameras weren't welcome, talking to people who lived by a different set of rules. His interviews sometimes featured artists throwing up gang signs, issuing threats, or speaking on street politics, things that could, and often did, have real-world consequences.
Zach was big on safety. If you know Zach, you will know that he big when it comes to being safe.
No, he was. He was big on, I give him that. He was big on safety. Like I said, Zach, not taking nothing away from him. Ain't never got, really got in trouble his whole life. Never had no, his shit was legit. You know what I'm saying? But he never put himself in no harm, no danger. And he made sure when he did these videos, he let motherfuckers know, like, hey, bro, I'm going to come on your block. I'm going to do your video and what the Bama shit like that or whatever the case may be. But I know you. So since I know you and me and you got a rapport with each other, all your people that is going to be with you, it's going to be a reflection off of you. You feel me? So make sure you get your people in order and make sure you get your people in line before I come out there. Because I'm not going to sit there and judge the nigga that's behind you that I don't know. I ain't going to judge that nigga. I'm going to judge you. And I ain't going to fuck with you no more. And that's how he moved, bro.
When he first came to the Gardens, that's all he did was heard about what was going on out there in the hood. Like, he never did an interview in the Garden. So he asked me more than 5 times, is I'm straight? Right. Is I'm going to be safe? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he big on safety.
Mm-hmm. Some called him reckless. Others called him a hero. But everyone knew one thing. Zach was fearless. Even when he received death threats, he kept going. In interviews, he admitted that he knew the risk. He knew that by filming certain people and covering certain stories, he was putting himself in danger. But he believed in his mission to tell the truth, no matter the cost.
I feel like he is legendary as hell, cause like this, he pulling up to any environment, like he ain't giving no, like he ain't got no, just a cool who want to put the city on. That's all he wants.
That's it. That's all he wanted to do.
But eventually, that cost would finally catch up with him. When Zacktv Stoner was hit, the impact rippled far beyond Chicago. Street journalists around the country took notice. For many, Zach's hit was a stark reminder of the risks they were taking every day. Sean Cotton, the creator of Say Cheese TV, knew Zach personally. He had always understood the danger of their work. But after Zach's passing, his perspective changed.
Mm-hmm. Talked about, because remember you had that pink Corvette.
Yeah.
They used to drive around, and you got rid of it after his murder.
Yeah, I got rid of that, man. I got rid of it. And then I stopped doing outside interviews too. You don't catch me really doing vlogs too. That's the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Zach understood, as does Cotton, that some degree of danger makes more compelling videos, boosting viewership. With its homicide numbers and depth of hip-hop talent, Chicago was fertile ground for stories. But far from the lauding gangs, Stoner would encourage them to have unity. We hit one another for some stupid things. We gotta be smarter than that, y'all, he said in one video. But he was also empathetic. Zach wasn't in a gang, but was raised in gang territory and knew the culture well. His home was within Goontown territory, a neighborhood where the streets dictated the rules, and survival often depended on knowing them. According to police, Goontown and the Perry Avenue crew were locked in a long-standing rivalry.
because I was doing DVDs before Vlad TV, and you could look it up. There was guns on the camera. It was like, what if one of those just went off accidentally?
Right.
Both were factions of gangster disciples, but alliances in Chicago's gang landscape didn't always extend beyond a few blocks. For years, the two groups exchanged threats, not just in the streets, but through rap videos, lyrics, and social media posts. Zack understood this world, but he never joined the gang. He stayed neutral, but in neighborhoods like his, even neutrality could be dangerous.
I mean, come to high school and talk to the kids. Corporate was there, and Zacktv, 4 of them, they was all there. I go there to motherfucking talk to the kids. Zacktv come there. I tell Zach, I might say, Zach, it's at a different level now. You need to start elevating your shit, bro. This what you need to do, bro, business-wise. You need to get one location, bro, and make us come there for an interview, bro, and expand your fucking brand, bro. I'm telling you, bro, just like all the majors are fucking doing. His ass like, all right, you right. All right, you like, and then, shit, he still pulling up on it.
Zack told the Chicago Defender newspaper in early 2018 that the young black men he interviewed were stuck in this box. They wanted desperately to escape, despite tough exteriors that are obligatory in their worlds. Some believe that Zack had gotten too big, that his growing influence, his rising wealth, and the power of his platform had created enemies he couldn't see coming. His friends urged him to leave Chicago, but they knew he never would.
Zack stayed, Zack stayed strapped. He stayed strapped.
And that's one thing I can really say, bro. A lot of motherfuckers, that's why y'all hear me say this shit all the time, bro. Bro, once my son graduated out of high school and all that old shit, man, I'm out of Chicago, bro. Fuck this place. I'm out of here, bro. I'm out of the state of Illinois, man. I'm gone, bro. I'm gone, man. Niggas will stay here their whole goddamn life, man. Like, fuck this place, bro. This place don't mean nothing, for real.
You know, me and him spoke a lot, and yeah, he mentioned that a lot, that, you know, he was always prepared. You know, he knew what he was getting into, but he was such a loving guy, and he didn't really stir up mess like that. Like, you know, that hurt me for a long time.
Sean Cotton, who had also spoken with Zack about the dangers of their work, now received weekly death threats. One message after a controversial report read, "We're going to do you like we did Zack." After Zacktv's hit, rumors spread quickly in the streets. And soon, whispers started circulating. Had AMG Fresh and T Streets set Zack up? The theory was based on one simple fact. They survived, and he didn't. Some believe that AMG Fresh and T Streets had lured Zack into a trap, making sure he was vulnerable when the shooters arrived. They were in the car with him when the shooting started. They fled the scene. Zack was left behind. The accusations gained traction because of how they escaped. In surveillance footage, they could be seen jumping out of Zack's crashed Jeep and running to AMG Fresh's girlfriend's car before speeding off. To many, it looked suspicious. Why had they left Zack behind? Did they know something was coming? Or had they just panicked and done what anyone else would do, run for their lives?
The cameras caught Zack in a flurry. According to these reports, Zack in a flurry is they see Zack in an altercation in the club. He get in an argument with people in the club, all kind of shit, then he loses his life. The reason nobody knew, because everybody, you know, it's strong with the shut your mouth. Chicago backdoor is hell. That's dangerous as hell. You know, that irritates me to know that Zack helped everybody and nobody gonna stand up for Zack. I ain't saying go tell.
The same day Zack was laid to rest, another man was hit. Thomas T. Streets Davis, one of Zack's closest associates, was gunned down. T. Streets had been there the night Zack was hit. He had been one of the passengers in Zack's SUV when the shots rang out on May 30th. But instead of staying at the scene, he ran. But others questioned it. Some believed it was connected, a warning, a message, or unfinished business. Others saw it as another tragic example of the reoccurring cycle in Chicago. But the timing was tough to ignore.
What the fuck?
Was T Street's hit connected to Zac's? To AMG Bell D, the rumors around Zacktv's passing were as false as they were dangerous. And as AMG Fresh's brother, he had a personal stake in setting the record straight.
Okay. A lot of people don't know that Zacktv was really at the event, really T Streets and AMG Fresh. You know what I'm saying? That's why them was the only two artists he recorded that night. You know, and he didn't care about who else was there. He was trying to build with them. He was so focused on the hundreds and the artists in the hundreds that he didn't even give a about a lot of artists. Like when it come to pushing their music, he was really they was a team. AMG Fresh, Zacktv, and T Streets.
In an interview, he dismissed the accusations outright, saying that Zack, AMG Fresh, and T Streets were a team. According to Bell D, the streets just wanted blood. After Zac's hit, people were looking for someone to blame, and AMG Fresh and T Streets became easy targets.
The streets way heavier than this rap, this internet shit that motherfuckers be doing. You know what I'm saying? That was street shit. Like, and when it come to street shit and you lose a motherfucker like Zacktv, ain't nobody from his hood really trying to hit shit.
By 2019, police had interviewed 5 individuals, all between the ages of 19 and 22, and all connected to the Perry Avenue gang. Surveillance footage, eyewitness accounts, cell phone location data, and ballistics evidence placed them at the scene, leading to their arrest. For many who had followed Zac's work and the details of his hit, it seemed like the case was finally on the verge of being solved. The suspects had been taken in, and it was only a matter of time before they faced justice. But that moment never came. Despite the arrest, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office refused to press charges. The decision was based on what they call a mutual combatants situation, a legal principle arguing that,
do y'all see how fucked up Cook County is? And y'all wonder why is it starting to make more sense why I went through the shit that I went through for the last 2 months? Do you see how fucked up Cook County is? These motherfuckers don't know what the fuck they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. The people that they find, and these are the people that really did the murder or really did the crime, they let them go. But the innocent people, they ain't got nothing to do with nothing. They arrest them. Like, this shit is so backwards up here, bro.
if both parties willingly engaged in street conflict, it may not be considered a straightforward homicide.
It was people charged with Zac's death, but they let him go. They said this was mutual combat.
The prosecutors suggested that Zac's hit could have been part of an ongoing street conflict.
Like, what other city, what other county do you hear some shit like, okay, me and this guy, we're beefing or whatever. I don't like this guy for whatever reason. He don't like me for whatever reason. And we're back and forth saying words to each other. I go, or he goes and kills me. And the state's attorney say, well, they've been saying stuff back and forth with each other and stuff like that. So it's mutual combatants. Even though one person lost their life, it's mutual combatants. It's not a homicide. It's not a murder. It's mutual combatants. You can let them go. Like, what? Like, this is how fucked up Chicago is, bro. Y'all think I just be saying this shit, just be saying it. This is how fucked up this city is. This is why I gotta get the fuck up out of here. This city is dumb, bro. For real.
One where all sides had played a role. But did that mean that no gang-retaliated shooting could ever be prosecuted? Because you didn't know who shot first? For Chicago police, the case was effectively closed. The investigation had produced suspects, but without the backing of the state's attorney, there would be no trial, no conviction, and no justice for Zacktv. Officially, his hit remains unsolved. Zacktv was a highly respected and beloved member of the Chicago community. He will be missed. Rest in peace, Zacktv.
That shit crazy, bro. That shit crazy.